Friends, welcome into the TexAgs Rewind presented by Specs. Summer's heating up, but Specs is keeping it cool. Sip on snack and save big during the Beat the Heat sale now on at Specs. Cheers to savings. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Had a great Tuesday show. Let's go around the room and get the thoughts from the humans. All right, human. Luke, what was your favorite part of the show?
Probably Josh Pate.
I need a reason.
He said we need a weight room at TexAgs, and I fully support him. We should turn that old studio into a weight room.
I think you should go and talk to management about that right now.
I am about to go talk to management, but...
Not about that?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. They asked you to bring your playbook?
Yeah, they said, do you want to be a bookkeeper? Because TexAgs is hiring.
There you go. TexAgs is hiring. Hey, Nick, your favorite part of the show?
It was definitely Jamie McCoy, but you know what I just realized, David?
No, I don't.
Luke's got on somewhat similar shirt to your yellow V-neck that you caught a lot of grief for, and
it's oversized as well.
No one said a word to Luke about it, and but to be fair, I didn't realize it till just now.
You know, I might have to wear that if A&M wins the game soon. But the truth is, I try not to talk bad about people. Luke, you are really texting away.
Sorry, basketball thing.
You
try.
work.
Whoa! You try not to talk bad about people.
What is it? The non-conference schedule, Luke?
You wouldn't you like to know, weather boy? I would say you will piggyback on OB if OB takes a shot at somebody. You'll add on to it, so that maybe that also counts as you.
Yeah, but you always do the preemptive strike. You strike
first. Yeah, I have to. When you work at TexAgs, you have to strike first.
No, but I don't strike first.
We're delaying the actual content.
Yeah, just watch the rewind. Production value, Nick, the brand new intro. I don't think we played it yesterday, right? Today is the debut. New quotes.
Season 2.
Season 2.
I wish I'd have known how to listen to it.
You can catch this on Netflix, by the way. And the new logo alert behind us. Look at that Go Hour. Look at that.
How about that?
Look at that. This is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And the Go Hour is presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Olin Buchanan. Now we start breaking down the team, the opponent.
Yeah. And you know what?
I don't think you liked my comment. You were just like,
no. Well, you had to clarify with the opponent. I don't think, and I mean this sincerely, I don't think that A&M could have a better opening opponent.
Okay.
It's perfect.
I'm intrigued. I'm going to tell you why I think that. They are good enough that you have to really be focused and play well.
Uh-huh.
But a game, if you play well, you should win comfortably.
That's true. And also this.
I love being right.
Let me ask you this.
And I'm going to answer.
Where do you think A&M is, I don't want to call it weakest because it's season.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
But where is A&M most...
vulnerable?
Vulnerable, or where's the biggest question?
Okay, I'm going to say I have evolved my thinking from last season to now.
Okay.
But based on the questions from last year, their pass defense.
And what does UTSA do best?
Well, I read your column yesterday. They are the 11th best passing team in the country.
They were last year.
Yeah.
And they got 4 of their top 5 receivers back, as well as their starting quarterback, of course, Olin Buchanan. So they can throw it.
They can sling it.
And it's a great test for A&M to open up with.
Yep. But, I'm going to say but. It is a great test, and it might be tighter than I want it to be. I think that defense is in shambles. In shambles because they lost a lot of dudes that are just aged out. They've moved on. I think it was 11 new starters that Coach Elko or new players on that defense. And when they've taken on SEC opponents in the past, SEC opponents have had their way. I think a couple years ago, Texas played them tight for a half and then took over. But
last year, Texas destroyed them.
Yeah, last year, Texas, I think 49. But I'm going to ask you, why does A&M go 9-3 this year? Give us your reasons. And some people think that's optimistic. Some people think that they could be even better than that.
Yeah, they're going to win close games. I trust them to be consistent. They're going to win close games, and they have the personnel on their roster to lean on people. Over a span of 4 quarters, I still believe that works. In fact, with the way defensive personnel is shaped and sized these days, I think maybe that strategy works more today than it did in the past. I don't think they're going to ask Marcel Reed to do things that he is not capable of doing. So I expect them and trust them to put him in a good position. I trust them to be complimentary enough. The receiver room's plenty good enough. working off of what should be one of the highest caliber ground games in the game this year. And not just the SEC, but the game, meaning the entire sport. Also, and this is more schedule related, but like you and I have talked about every time we've spoken over the entire summer, even though I'm wearing sleeves this morning in Nashville, I love that Notre Dame game being where it is. I love it having the profile that it does. I love in the context of this year that it played out the way it did last year. Because you got your bell rung a little bit last year at home, week one. Now you kind of get to go up there. You're trying to return the favor. But more than that, you're trying to out Notre Dame. You're trying to do what they did last year better than they can do it. And you're going to go in their building and try and do that. So that'll be a good barometer. It's not a conference game, but that'll be a good barometer. I do not think that A&M, if they play to their full potential, is the kind of team that's going to grab a lot of folks' attention. Because I don't think what Elko is going to ask them to do this year is particularly flashy. I also don't think what he's going to ask them to do many other teams are capable of doing. You're talking about playing a brand of ball. Again, we talked about this last couple of weeks, that very few, if any, teams are capable of pulling off. But that's okay, because he's not asking them to do it today for the first time. They have built and they have conditioned and they've trained for this for a calendar year or more now. I'm just excited. I've got confidence in it, obviously, but I'm excited to see whether I'm right or not.
The talk this morning about UTSA is about the offense. I think the way Coach Elko described them yesterday, that they were clicking at the end of the year. So tell me a little bit about their offense, what makes them work, and just what makes them a really dangerous offense. What, number 11 in the country last year?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was a story of last year coming into the season with so many new pieces on that side and a new quarterback in Olin Buchanan. And you just saw over the course of the year that they got some guys back from some injuries that had hampered them since training camp, and they got some experience with Olin Buchanan at the quarterback position, and they started to protect him a little bit better. And the whole group just kind of started to thrive. We finally saw towards the end of the season what it looks like when they have pretty much all their healthy pieces out there. And now that's what it's going to look like again coming into this year. So it obviously starts with the quarterback, and Olin's going to be probably most efficient in those short and intermediate routes. His accuracy, I think, is what stands out the most. But they have some speedsters who can stretch the field a little bit, so they might be able to hurt you vertically. And I think more than ever, you might see some 2 tight end sets from this team as well, because as much as they love the wide receiver group, they have 3 guys that they feel really confident about in the tight end room too. So I think they're going to be able to at least try to hurt A&M in a bunch of different ways. Now, how that works against, the caliber of athletes they'll see from Texas A&M is nothing like the groups that they faced last year when they started having some success. So we'll see how it translates. But at least in terms of within their league and the kind of teams they'll face more regularly on a week-to-week basis, UTSA feels really good about their offense.
Greg, how have they offensively looked against the top-tier teams? Like obviously it's a step up in weight class, but have they had success moving the ball against top-tier teams?
Yeah, I think when they played against Tennessee 2 years ago, that was Owen's first real action. He came in the second half, and he looked really good. I think he completed something like 17 of 20 passes and kind of got them moving. Now, obviously, the game was kind of already out of hand at that point, so it's a little bit easier to get going at that stage. But last year against Texas, they didn't have a whole lot of success offensively. They only scored a handful of points, but obviously Texas was one of the top teams in the country. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here, but I do think that that's sort of a small sample size in terms of what they do against these elite SEC caliber teams. So it's hard to say for sure how that'll translate, but the small bit we've seen has not always been great.
When you look at the pass catchers on this team, all right, so I'm going to include tight ends and wide receivers and the different looks that maybe these guys can get. And considering last year's team, I thought they struggled with getting separation. This doesn't feel like it's going to be the case this year.
Yeah, it doesn't. I love the addition of Craver, and I love KC Concepcion. I know we got a young boy making his waves. I don't think separation will be an issue, and like I said, I think what's going to be to our advantage is being able to dictate what type of personnel the defense puts on the field. So, again, going back to those big tight ends, if we're able to shift in and out quickly, or just we got so many versatile looks that I think separation won't be the key. It's really going to come down to Klein calling masterful games, our offensive line and our running game doing what they need to do, and then us sprinkling it in. When they expect to run, we need to pass. When they expect to pass, we need to run. So I think we got the personnel to be confusing for defenses, and I think we got the guys that are ready to make that next leap and do what we need to do to put A&M on the map.
Yeah, what do you think a vertical attack can do for this offense? Considering the offense was good last year, it did change when Le'Veon left. But the ability to stretch out the field, the ability to hit the short passes, the ability for the RPOs and what Marcel can do. Like, just can this offense be dynamic?
I think it can, and it's kind of two-part. We're going to have to be able to be vertical and go down the field because that's going to allow some of that pressure to come off of Marcel. The more that we're able to, it's kind of, you wouldn't think that, but the more that we're able to attack downfield and get guys kind of on their heels, the better I feel like our run game and Marcel's legs are going to be able to be a benefactor for us. So, like I said, I think we need to put we gotta definitely hammer down the run game and let run be our number one focus. But at the same time, when these guys, when we do decide to attack and air it out, whether it be play action or just saying, hey, line it up, we're going to pass the ball downfield on you. As long as we're able to connect, I see it doing wonders for not only Marcel, but the offensive line and the offense as a whole.
I've lost interest in this rewind, so Nick, tell the people what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.
Bye.